Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan Wells here. Welcome to episode number 27 of Show the Flow TV. Guys, today is Way Deep Wednesday, and I had to bring somebody on today because we're going to get into some stuff. I hope you have your wading pants ready. Is that what they're called? Wading pants?
Like the waders.
The rubber?
Yeah, like
you
up
go
to the
fishing
waist,
in, right?
suspenders.
Yes.
Yeah, like you can go fly fishing,
Yeah.
or you can get into the deep.
We're gonna go deep, so we're gonna pause. Okay, I hope you're back and you've got them on. But this is Matt Crow.
Hello, everyone.
We're happy that he's on, but we're just going to dive right in because we are going to get deep. So today we're talking about the new normal, and so kind of just the thoughts that are around that. Just to kick us off, I want you to think about this. What do you do when what you had planned out as your future, your goals, maybe on your vision board, whatever, however you work that out? What do you do when life throws you a curveball and you have to deal? Matt kind of walked through some of that, and I'm gonna have him share a little bit of his story and maybe what it looks like going forward. We'll just see where we get on this.
Yeah. So, what do you do when the entire tapestry changes? Like you had this mindset, you had this vision for your future, goals, ideas, and all of a sudden you find yourself in an entirely different season and trying to look around, figure things out, and how do you respond? My wife and I, we've predominantly been in vocational ministry, and what that means is basically we got paid by a church to minister to people, love on people, and have relationship and try to treat those folks well. But in the last 12 months, last 12 to 18 months, that's kind of dramatically changed. And what I have found echoing on the inside of me is, what do you do now? What do you do now? Your whole identity kind of gets wrapped up in this idea of being a pastor. And if you're not careful, you wear that title like a banner, and it consumes you. And you almost forget, if you're not careful, again, who you are.
Yeah.
Like what your passions are. And you become kind of subservient to this idea, this position, this title. And what do you do when all of that changes?
It's a great question. I think, you and I both kind of have a similar story in that maybe the way that things worked out as far as, the way that the road diverged, maybe it looks different, but, the same thing. I went to Bible college.
Yeah.
I spent 2 full years of my life going to school as a married couple. Aaron and I both did because, our thoughts and our dreams of what we thought we wanted was we were going to have a church one day.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that that's completely off the table. I don't know.
Sure.
But what I will say is, we spent about 3.5 years starting a church, launching, really pioneering a brand new church. And it's been an incredible experience. But what happened during that time, like what God was doing in my life, was He was preparing me for the season that I'm in today, which is completely outside of church walls.
Absolutely.
And again, it doesn't look like what I thought life was going to look like at this point. But what I've found is a fulfillment that's much deeper than I don't know, like maybe I can find that fulfillment, in ministering to people in a church setting. But what I've found is the opportunity to minister in the marketplace is one that reaches even further.
Sure. Yeah, it's. I think it comes with less boxes, if you will, less presuppositions and less labels. People have the opportunity, I think, to receive you for Ryan, right, and not receive Pastor Ryan.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with the title of pastor. There's nothing wrong with ministry. I'm just saying sometimes there is a freedom to minister differently, and it should be different because you're approaching it differently. You're ministering from behind a camera now,
right?
Which, like you said, looks probably far different than what you thought. I'm a mortgage lender.
Yeah.
How do you go from church to mortgage lender?
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
Like, and so it's all different now. And what's amazing to me is it's not so much that the circumstances change, my address didn't change, my city didn't change, my psychology had to change.
It's good.
I had to open up and become fluid, and as you always say, I had to figure out what the flow was doing, like where the flow was taking me. Because I'll tell you this: whenever you go through a change, if you're not careful, that change can, I think, break you.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
you ask so many questions when things change. Those questions become daunting and cumbersome and weighty, and you almost put on this metaphoric backpack, and you're carrying around all the questions of your past, because now the past meets the present is leading to a place you didn't anticipate for the future, and so everything, there's no safety anywhere you look,
Right.
past, present, or future. And so you don't want to be the rock that the flow has to go around, or the water, if you will. It's like running water.
Yeah.
You could put the rock in the water's still leading somewhere, but you're unwilling to move.
It's good.
And so you're the one that has made yourself stagnant, because you're unwilling now to be led, because you thought you were being led somewhere, and that didn't turn out so well.
Right.
And so as a result, you find yourself stuck.
Yep.
And you don't want to be led again,
Yep.
because potentially this leading again may not end up the way that you thought.
That's so good. You know, one of the biggest questions that I think I struggled with was why?
Yeah.
Like, why did this happen to me? Or why have things turned out the way that they had? And you have to really confront, and here we are, guys, really getting deep. Like, you have to confront some of the root causes of
Common
like,
denominators.
of how did you get there, right? It's just like, you know, somebody in a, you know, always in a bad relationship, right? And you know, they may say, well, there's just no good mate out there for me. Well, you know, if you've been in 12 different relationships in the past year, I mean, you're the only common denominator in that, right?
Right. You can blame the 12, or you can take a hard look in the mirror
Yeah,
and figure out who the one was.
it's good. You know, Jim Rohn, he said something, and again, you know, he's a hero of mine. This was when I was completely broke, you know, just our house was going into foreclosure, just a bad time.
Yeah.
I was listening to some audio, and he said, when you change, everything will change for you. And when you get better, everything will get better for you. And that's when I woke up, so to speak. I remember I had to pull my car over. I was driving. I had to pull the car over because I was just beginning to weep. Because, you know, just it hit me so hard. In that moment, I had a decision to make. I could be the rock.
Right.
And you know, prevent the flow from happening, or I could become the water.
Come on.
And enter into the flow. I heard a guy talk about this the other day. You know, he was talking about the kids' game hide and seek, right? You know, in hide and seek, there's two players. There's you know, the person that hides, and then there's the person that seeks, right? We all know the game. We played it as a kid. It used to be one of my favorite games. And in hide and seek, you have the person, they go and hide. You know, they're by themselves. They kind of isolate themselves off. It's a safe place that they're in. They kind of have control over their environment. They're in a place where nobody can see them. And then you have the seeker, and that person is kind of vulnerable in some ways, but you know, they're out on the hunt.
Right.
And they've got to find this person, and you know, you never really, they don't know where the answer is. And I you know, got to thinking about that game and what this guy was talking about, and you know, here's the challenge in life. Like, that could be us, right? We're either hiding and isolating ourselves, you know, keeping ourselves safe,
Yeah,
like
that's
that
it.
rock in the flow, or we're out, you know, neglecting everybody and out just on the hunt, you know, going for the gusto, right? A go-getter, and stepping on, you know, whoever's toes. And like, neither one of those were appealing to me.
Right.
Like, it's just not. And so there is a third player or a third subject kind of in the game, and that's the inventor of the game. Somebody created those rules.
That's it.
And what we're talking about, what the flow really is you become the creator of your own hide and seek. You become the creator of your own game, the designer of your own life. And so when life throws you a curveball, you respond, change the game, change the rules.
Yep.
Right? And so what do you think, like right now, how's that working out in your life? What do you see next? Do you have
Sure.
any idea?
You know, for right now, it's mortgage lending, and for me, it's it's not mortgage lending. It's like you do, or what you do with photography. It's I want to treat people well.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be about the numbers. I don't want it to be just about the transaction, about the deals. I want to treat people well. I want to take people through a process, an experience, if you will.
It's good.
I want it to be memorable. I want it to be celebratory when they're done.
Yeah.
And so that's it right now. But deeper than that, Way Deep Wednesday, is, for me, it's a transformation. It's a recreation of defining success. Like, let's really get to the root. That's what I've been challenged with. What does success mean for you? And for me, it's been figuring out, how do I be grateful no matter what I'm challenged by?
Yeah.
No matter what I'm being faced with, and how do I be content? Because if I'm not careful, I'm a husband. I've been married for 15 years to my high school sweetheart.
That's awesome.
I got 3 beautiful kids, and if I'm not careful, I will miss so much that I have to celebrate, because I'm allowing change and circumstance and situations to dictate my joy, not just my happiness, but my joy. And so for me, what it's about is just looking around your life right now. And can you change everything overnight? Probably not.
Right.
But looking around your life right now and going, what is it that I can find some sort of happiness, where I can be grateful, where I can be content. I can look and go, I'm thankful I still have this and this. And yeah, it doesn't look the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because here I am. I'm still standing. That didn't defeat me. Whatever it was, the challenge, the change, I'm still here. And I have the capability to reinvent.
Yeah.
And I have the capability to change the game. Hide and seek. I'm gonna change the rules.
It's good.
And that's really what it boils down to, is if you fix your psychology so strongly on one thing, then your whole identity becomes warped, because you can't get away from placing your value in that something.
Yep.
And that your value goes deeper than that. Your value is just not contained in a vessel that says, this is what I am. When I put on my suit and tie, whatever that suit and tie is at the beginning of the day, whether it's a flannel shirt or it's an actual suit and tie, right?
Yeah.
My value goes deeper than that, because the currency I possess is the greatest currency we all possess, and that's to touch others' lives.
It's good. Yeah.
So,
we've talked about this in Givers before, the difference between anticipation and expectation. When you put all of your eggs in one basket, your hopes, your dreams, your expectations, the vision of the future, in all of your life's, your thought investment goes into this one basket. When somebody comes and they knock over that basket, what are you left with?
Right.
You're left with disappointment. And I like to look at that word disappointment, an appointment. What it causes you to do, it causes you to miss appointments that God may have for your life, or the abundance may roads that the abundance may open up for you. And so my challenge to you, because we're all going to experience disappointment, but on Way Deep Wednesday, the challenge today for you is to learn to discipline your disappointments, to use those feelings and go ahead and feel the feelings. Like I'm really big on that. Like, feel your emotions. If you're going to laugh, laugh hard. If you're going to cry, cry hard. Like, if you need to take a day and just be depressed, do it. Go ahead and feel those emotions.
Right.
But get up that next morning and stare it in the eye and face it, and then move forward. Okay? But discipline your disappointments. Use whatever that feeling is as fuel to take you to another level. The secret here, guys, is just don't quit. So the new normal that we see today, it may be completely different 6 months from now,
right,
1 year from now. But what's not going to change is the opportunity that you and I have to touch lives. That stays the same. And that sounds a lot like ministry to me.
Yep.
So, guys,
come on.
That's it. I don't know how much deeper we can get today. Matt, I appreciate you for being on today. Absolutely. Check him out. We'll put a link to what's a great way to get a hold of him if
Facebook.
somebody wants to get some lending on.
get some lending on.
Yeah. So we'll just put a Facebook
yeah.
link right here at the bottom, and they can contact you there.
That'd be great. Message me on Facebook. I'm always available on my cell phone. I could get that to them.
Cool.
Facebook's a great place to start, and I appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget, send in any questions that you may have on really any topics, something you want to hear about. Tomorrow is Question and Answer Thursday, and I know we've already got some questions that have come in. We had a really big response on the social media Sunday this week. So any questions, just let us know. But until then, Show the Flow TV. We'll talk to you guys soon.